All right, so welcome to lesson two of this new series, Bite-Sized Guitar Lessons for Beginners. And today we're going to cover how to hold the guitar and how to hold the pick, right? So both completely necessary for moving on to the next lesson. So this one will be pretty quick for you to grab onto. And with anything with technique, anything that comes down to specifics, remember there's always a little bit of grace with the technique. For example, there's people who play their guitar flat on their lap. There's people who play their guitar with their feet, right? So really, don't try to copy me exactly, and don't try to copy any players. I don't believe there's a right or wrong 100% way to do a lot of things. It's really going to be subtly changed so it suits you. So if you find a way that feels better for you, barring, of course, it can affect technique later, right? So nothing that will bother your body or your wrist or something like that. But barring those exceptions, and I'll tell you when those things are, there's a lot of leeway with how you do something. So holding the pick, for example, people might tell you to put it on your knuckle here, your first knuckle, right? And you just lay it on your first knuckle and the pointy part sticks out and you put your thumb on and that's how you hold the pick, right? I've seen people describe it this way. For me, that's too straight on, okay? Mine goes more like this. More like it's almost pointing down towards my finger and my thumb comes across it, across the top of it, see? So it's a little bit diagonal. Does that make sense? That's the way I hold the pick. That feels natural for me. Some people hold very tightly like this with their whole hand and strum like that. I relax my fingers, see? And I strum like that, okay? So that's how I hold the pick. You can play with it, see what feels good for you. You can just strum down and just see what feels right. Of course, when you first start, if it's the first time you're holding the pick, it's going to feel wrong no matter what, right? It's going to feel a little uncomfortable and unnatural because you're not used to it. So that's the first thing, how to hold your pick. The second thing is how to hold your guitar. So something I see people do a lot is to death grip the neck, right? So they grab and you're trying to play a chord or a note and you're also grabbing the neck very hard. You don't support the neck of the guitar with your hand that you're playing with, okay? This hand is just here to glide beautifully up and down the guitar to hold chords and play on the neck, okay? This one is just for playing. This one is for support, all right, and strumming. How do you do it? Is every acoustic guitar has this lovely little nook in the bottom for you to be able to rest on your thigh. To show you how that looks, I just rest this on my thigh like that. So try not to have your guitar up here like this, but have it so it's naturally on your thigh, how it's supposed to be, how that's made to be that way, okay? Then the guitar will drop down a little. Stay upright when you're playing. Of course, there's a tendency to go like this and try to see what you're playing when people start. And that's okay if you have to do that, right? That's okay. But then bring it back up before you play. Bring your torso upright, your spine long, okay? Don't be hunched over and looking at it like this because you're not going to learn how to strum correctly with that because you're strumming on an angle, right? But if you're strumming up and down, right, the guitar is up and down like this, see? Up and down, okay? So that's how to hold the guitar. And the way it stays on your thigh is not that you have to hold it against you like this. My bicep is on my back of my guitar there, and I want to put my hand over the hole, right? So you find that length. You don't want to bring your arm all the way up like this so your hand's down here, right? You want to have your bicep on the and this varies with your length of your forearm, so that your hand naturally falls over the hole, right? Use that as a judgment, as a way to gauge it. Press down with your bicep like you're drawing into your body a little bit, and that'll press the guitar down into your thigh. And that holds the guitar where it is. See, my neck will stay straight like that, and then I can just play. All right? So that's how to hold the guitar. That's how to hold the pick. How to grasp the neck varies by player, but also by what you're playing, right? There's different kinds of chords, so we'll go through that as we move through the different chords and finger exercises. But remember, when you're doing this, the most important thing once you start playing notes and chords is to use as little bit of effort as possible. That's with everything on the guitar or any instrument. Of course, it takes effort. So you'll feel like you're maybe engaging your whole forearm, your wrist, your hand, and everything's tight. Your shoulders are drawn up. Keep being aware of that. Keep relaxing the unnecessary tension in your face, your neck, okay? And just use what you need. It'll take time, but remember you're using mostly the strength of your hands and fingers, right? Rather than your upper arm or shoulder. My bicep feels completely relaxed right now when I'm holding a chord because I'm using from some of my forearm, but from my wrist down, my hand, all right? So that's it for today's lesson. If you get that down, then let's move on to lesson 3.